Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. Comment below if you're so motivated to do so. This is the Voice of a Black Woman. I wanted to touch base on the roundtable that Love and Hip Hop Atlanta had on racism, colorism, and the uncomfortable truth, which they wanted to talk about spinning off of what happened with Erica Mena and Spice, with Erica Mena calling Spice a monkey. I'm going to leave a link in the description box so you can watch this full episode, let it marinate, let it sink in. You know, we all have opinions, we all may have personal experiences with racism or colorism. Maybe you yourself is a colorist or a racist. And I just want Black people to understand that a lot of these problems we're dealing with, yes, it may have racism affects us in many ways, but a lot of it is the breakdown of us and how we treat each other and how we allow people to come into our spaces and abuse us and mistreat us. And Erica Mena is not Black. She is Latina, which is that real. A lot of people debate whether Latinos are a race, because you could be a Black Latino or a white Latino. So a lot of people really don't know if Latinos is really considered a race or more or less a culture. But the bottom line is, we as Black people allow people to disrespect us, and we disrespect each other, and that has to stop. Because if we were more strong within ourselves and our own communities, you would not have so many people coming along that think that they can just disrespect us. Now here's a clip of the Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. You're going to hear what a few of them had to say. Again, I will leave a link in the...
And why? Why would you compare?
You're friends and he felt that way. I was his wife. And he felt nothing.
That don't have nothing to do with me if he felt nothing for you. Like, so it's just confusing.
So you're
like,
telling
why?
me if you were in my shoes, you're telling me you wouldn't feel no type of way as a woman?
What do you mean if I was in your shoes? In what
If
way? What do
you
you
were-
mean?
if-
Because
if
I feel
you
like
were
your
me-
problem is, Erica, you feel like you're the first woman to be divorced. That's the problem.
Really?
I feel like you're acting like you're the first woman to be divorced, and you're the first woman that's left with 2 children to fend for. I've been doing it for 14 years. Welcome to the club.
Girl,
Your
I've been
kids are
doing it
in
for
nowhere.
16.
Okay?
16.
Okay, with your
16
son that
as a
don't like you.
teenager.
My son loves me.
How do you know
Let's
about
talk
my
about
son?
that.
Yeah,
Stop
wait,
always
how do you
making
know
it
about
about
my
you.
son? Wait,
That's
how
what
do you
I'm
know about
talking.
my son?
You said it.
So a lot of people said that Spice shouldn't have said anything about her son. That sort of cut Erica Mena deep, and so she wanted to get back at Spice by cutting her deep. And so she went to the racist, colorist, whatever you want to call it, comment by calling her a monkey, because she wanted to say something that she thought would dig at her or hurt her.
That's what you said. You started the conversation and said, look.
You don't know about my son, bitch. No. Come here, bitch. Suck my you cock, bitch. You don't do that. Just on your that bitch should have died. You want to picture my kid? You should have died, bitch. You monkey. You blue monkey. That's all I need is your karma, bitch. You should have died, hoe.
Serve your rights so far as your karma, bitch. And now we Amara. I told you say never like I like black girls. You piece of trash. You Yo, I hate everybody that is gonna let me out. Man, I don't believe it.
That was terrible.
It makes
That was
my
actually
blood
terrible.
boil.
It gives me the chills every time I watch it.
It makes my head hurt and my blood boil. Like the audacity to be so immersed in our culture, love our men, want
Love the black penis.
children, proud of it, but can sit there and call a Black person, not just a Black woman, a monkey, make monkey gestures, make monkey sounds.
That's exactly what I want to talk about is
Let's get real. Just because a white person or Asian person or a Latina person comes and pleasures themselves with a Black body, that does not mean that they are not racist. During the slavery days, there were slave masters that was pleasuring themselves off of the men and women slaves. And they were just as racist as they could get. So I think that just because black people they're confused. Just because somebody pleases themselves off of you, pleasures themselves off of you, make money off of you, doesn't mean that they don't think that they're more superior than you, and it doesn't mean that they're not a racist. There are plenty of black people that I've heard of or heard stories from that are in interracial relationships. And I have family in Oregon and all of these different places where it's mostly white, and they are biracial, or they're married to someone white or dating someone white. As soon as they get in an argument, you're a bunch of the N-words. Or, the woman will go run to the cops and start crying, and then next thing you know, you're getting in trouble and they're trying to see how they can fit you up underneath the jail. So the bottom line is, just because someone is pleasuring themselves off of you or using you for money or something like that, or using you for entertainment, that doesn't mean that they don't think they're better than you or more superior to you. And yes, you'll have some of these people who are white as snow laying up with the blackest, darkest black man that you can find, and their children are coming out dark. And they're running around saying all kinds of racist, horrible things. And their children are growing up confused because they feel like, the black side of who they are is trash.
Is the history of that word, why it's so painful, why it's so hurtful. And I also want to give Spice a chance to react to that, because I saw that you were very emotional just having to replay that.
I done read in books, you know what I'm saying? I done seen it where they done put like real, like a human being, a black human being in a zoo and chained them up and treated them just like a monkey. And dressed them up and everything, had people come pay to just look at them. When that
And I want to just stop there. You can take a look at this full thing, but I wanted to just play that clip because it's important for what I'm about to go into in this video. Because Love and Hip Hop Atlanta did not take this seriously until it was backlash from the public. I really question whether they were even going to fire Erica Mena until she had that incident with the police. And then the public started to get offended by her calling Spice a monkey. Or they may have felt that they could spin this into a big publicity thing or make it seem like they're woke or whatever by firing her for calling Spice a monkey. Black people call each other the N-word left and right all the time. And it isn't even blinked at. So we have to really realize that we're the ones that really perpetuate a lot of this stuff within our own culture. A lot of black people want to think that they're superior to another black person, so they call them monkey. They're colorists and stuff like that. You get into an argument with a dark-skinned person, the first thing they're doing is calling them a bunch of black this, black that, you black this, you black, you crispy this, you that. You're always doing that yourselves. And you should be ashamed of yourselves. Now, I want to go into what Scrappy was saying because, yes, black people, the whole monkey comment, because, yes, black people were treated like they were animals under the captivity of white supremacy and white racism. The people that went into Africa and started enslaving Africans, they just went buck wild with it. Black people literally were placed in zoos. They were very popular at one point. Very popular. All around the world, there were many, many zoos. And they were putting black people literally in zoos. When people of color were placed in zoos, this is a little article, and they would put black people in the way they would display animals. They would put them in little habitat looking type of things. They would put them in the displays with other animals. Like this particular African was put in a cage with an orangutan. Um, I mean, you should really know your history. If you went to the Bronx Zoo in 1906, you undoubtedly would have found yourself at the exhibit of Ota Benga, a man kidnapped from his home in Africa and displayed in a cage along with an orangutan. People threw him food, taunted him, applauded when he did something they liked. Although he was only on display in the Bronx for 20 days, he never went back home and never saw his wife and kids again. Let's not forget the significance of our history with Sarah Bartman. She had a condition where she had a lot of fat deposits in her buttocks area, and they put her on display. They put her on display in Europe as a freak show, made money off of her. They they this woman was such a piece of property to these people that her brain, skeleton, and sexual organs remained on display in Paris Museum until 1974. Okay? She was known as the Hottentot Venus, and she was paraded around freak shows in London and Paris with crowds invited to look at her large buttocks. They even at one point prostituted this woman. Again, for people that want to make light of the Erica Mena calling Spice a monkey, let's go back and down memory lane and really get the gravity. They used to use black babies as alligator bait when they were trying to clear the swamps down in Florida and Louisiana. They would tie a string to a black baby's leg and let it crawl out and use that as alligator bait. So the alligator would come up and munch down on the baby, and they would capture and kill the alligator. So, yes, it isn't really a question of whether African American babies were used as alligator bait, but the question is how frequently was it practiced? During slavery and Jim Crow era in the United States, African Americans were brutalized and mistreated in almost every way imaginable. If there was a way to kill, maim, oppress, or use an African American for any reason, it more likely happened. If the skin from an African American might be used for leather shoes or handbags, then pretty much all atrocities were possible and probable. African American babies being used as alligator bait really happened, and it happened to real people. It doesn't seem to have been a widespread practice, but it happened. But you can, if you ever go to a library and you look up the microfiche or the newspapers from a long time ago, if they still are preserving those, you could see ads in the newspaper where they were selling black babies as alligator bait. So they also used to use, just like you would have some people wear fur or leather shoes, leather purses, leather belts. Well, they used to use black people's skin for belts, purses, cigar cases, shoes. you know? This article reads leather from human skin. Philadelphia News. I remember when I was anyway, it says, I remember that 2 or 3 years ago, I incidentally referred to a prominent physician of the city wearing shoes made from the skin of Negroes. He still adhered to that custom, insisting that the tanned hide of an African makes the most enduring and most pliable leather known to man. You know, the way we were treated in this world, I'm surprised that we don't huddle more to each other, protect each other, love on each other more. And because I mean, you know, your ancestors, some of them, their skin was used for handbags. And you run around calling each other the N word all the time. And you have the audacity to be putting each other down because somebody is darker or who's lighter and stuff like that. You people should be ashamed of yourselves. You really should. And any of you black people out here, you know, co-signing and supporting Erica Mena, you're a fool. You really are a fool. You hate yourself. Anyway, I'm not going to drag this video on. You know what it is. You know how I feel. I think that if you're a black person and you don't have love for yourself and your own people, you're a fool. And for you to ridicule the darker skinned of us, that's who we are. We are dark complected people with naturally coiled and curly hair. That is who we are. And for you to put us down because we are the natural way that God made us with the darker skin tones and the coily hair, then something is wrong with you if you don't love yourself. We have to stop mistreating and abusing each other, stop the violence amongst each other, love and respect each other. Like you're talking like you're some white superior racist. You know, calling each other the N word. I'm telling you, we've been through so much as a people in this world. I'm surprised we're still standing, but we are. And we need to stop supporting venues and platforms and shows and artists and music artists and movies that is showing us in such a blatantly disrespectful light. Anyway, leave your thoughts below. Like, share, and comment. This has been Wonders of a Black Woman. Peace.